Hello, and welcome to a podcast with no theme, no direction, and three hosts with no idea what they're doing. It is currently 2:32 a.m., and you're listening to the late night ramblings of Madmen. How's it going, y'all? We are back once again. I know we've been a little hit or miss lately, but we are back with another episode. I am joined once again by my Madmen, my co-Madmen. I don't know what I was gonna say there. Andrew and John. How are we doing tonight, boys?
Great as always.
Yeehaw, we're back again.
That didn't really answer my question, but I'll accept that. You know, I'll accept that. So we're pretty excited about today's episode. So without further ado, there's not much of an intro. Let's just get into it. So what we wanted to talk about today, y'all okay? Y'all okay there?
Oh yeah, we're great.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure what that was.
So what we wanted to talk about today is
Actually, before you begin, one thing I think we do need to say.
Okay, yes.
Apologies, as always, for the non-existent upload schedule.
It'll get better. Trust us.
It'll get better, maybe.
Maybe,
yeah,
probably. Kind of, sort of, maybe.
Thank you for doing that. Cool.
Okay. So, okay. So let's try this for the third time. So what we wanted to talk about today first was a very topical Minecraft topic, as we normally like to start with, and it is what most Minecraft players have been talking about lately. The Tales and Trails, or is it Trails and Tales or Tales and Trails? I do not know.
It's Tales and Trails, I believe.
Tales and Trails. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's great. But the big Tales and Trails update is out now on Minecraft, and obviously I think this is going to be probably a week, maybe a worst case scenario 2 weeks late. So you probably already have heard of it if you play Minecraft regularly. If you do not, basically it's it's kind of two things: archaeology and trees. I'm just gonna do a brief recap, and then we can, talk about our thoughts, because we've all been on a world together and kind of explored it, so we actually are somewhat qualified. Although we're never really that qualified, let's be honest. But so basically, the number one thing I feel like I should start out with is basically some wood updates. Bamboo is not technically a wood, but it kind of is now. You can make, bamboo planks, bamboo boats, tables, like not tables, chair. You can make bamboo table, not bamboo fences. That's what I mean. I cannot talk. Bamboo chairs, bamboo doors, basically what you could do with the other woods. And then the other thing that they've done with that is they have made cherry blossoms. Everybody's favorite Japanese it's not a maple. I don't know. Everyone's favorite Japanese tree, which might not be.
It might actually be a cherry tree.
Okay. I mean,
yes.
it's called the cherry blossom, but the cherry blossom is in Minecraft now. It's beautiful. They come in little cherry groves, which aren't even. What I like about them is that they're not even their own biomes. They're just like a little cluster of just like random cherry trees in the middle of like some like mountain. Well, I think it looks really cool. Again, if you have played Minecraft recently, then yeah, you've probably seen it for yourself, and you can confirm they're pretty cool too. And then the other side of the update, I think Tales part of it, is archaeology. If you're a big history nerd like me, or you just like archaeology, that's cool. They have rolled out some suspicious gravel and suspicious sand, which can be dusted for sniffer eggs and other various goods. And it could be very cool. And those sniffer eggs will hatch into the mob vote winner, last year's mob vote winner, the sniffer, which I think we discussed that all the way back in like episode 1. So after the show, make sure to check that out. Or just go on Minecraft Wiki. It's not hard to, find out about the sniffer. And the sniffer, of course, has its own little lore. The reason it's part of archaeology is because it's like some ancient dinosaur thing, and you can discover the egg and raise it and, give it oxygen or whatever. It's a lot more lore heavy, which I can already start to hear myself repeat. I can already start to hear myself repeat what we said back in episode 1 about when this update was announced, but now it's here and it looks a little different. So I think John will start off with you. Just you've seen all the features and whatever. What's your favorite? What's your overall take? Just give us your whole take.
Personally, I really like the, I hope the background noise isn't too bad. But I really like the new structures that they've been adding in this, update. I really like I haven't seen much of the sniffer, but I've seen the new structures, which are really cool, how they are in, you have a bunch of different ones in the different biomes. You have, abandoned ones. Well, all of them are buried civilizations, question mark, which is really cool, that you can, dig up the past.
Yeah, and they're pretty small buildings, but still a nice touch.
Yeah, I really like the armor trims. Those are something that I was looking forward to. And then, huh?
Oh no, keep going. I like them too, though.
The camel, I haven't seen much of the camel either. I think it's a cool idea, and I think I need to experiment with it more. But, I don't really use a horse or anything when I play Minecraft. So it just seems kind of useless to have another rideable mob if I'm just going to be using an elytra most of the time, you know?
Yeah.
Then...
No. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, but yeah, you keep going, man.
And that's all that that's most of what I feel right now for the update. I do... sorry.
No, dude. You keep alluding to the fact that you're ending, and I want to minimize the transition time. I'm so sorry.
We're so rusty at this. But anyway.
That's true.
Finish
your point.
I really like the two new wood types. So the bamboo and the cherry blossoms. And yeah, I think it's a really cool update.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If you're finally done,
I am.
I think that this is a big blessing if you are trying to build some kind of Asian architecture inspired base, which I'm not currently on my world, but I think both the cherry blossom and the bamboo just really leads to almost like a more jungle aesthetic, or if you want to go cherry blossom, like a very nice cafe I could see being built with primarily cherry blossom. I think the pink of the cherry blossom, what I'm trying not to say cherry blossom that much, but the pink goes nice with a lot of the lighter tones, and then there's that nice navy blue blackish trim around the bark of the tree that makes a very nice contrast. As most of the woods in Minecraft do, I'll give them credit. They all look pretty nice, just not all together. But I think that's pretty cool. The archaeology is, I think, I'm not sure how many people are really going to not care, but take the time and effort. If you're worrying about getting oxygen for a sniffer and dusting off, sniffer eggs, you really got to be pretty bored. Hate to say it, but
I mean, they give you diamonds, so
they do, and so I guess that's worth it. But it's probably easier to, just go mining. If you're wandering around, I guess it's a neat little exploration thing. If you're out getting something else and you see that, it's a nice little side quest that you can do. And so I'm not sure quite how essential to the game the whole sniffer thing is. And not to mention, if you aren't really connected and in the know about the lore, then you're probably going to miss out, to be honest. You're probably going to miss out on just a lot of, like, you're like, why do I need to give this thing oxygen? Well, according to the lore, he was a dinosaur and the atmosphere was different and blah, blah, blah. And so that's going to be a lot harder for entry level players to, wrap their heads around unless they, kind of find out the lore about it. But that isn't too much of a concern because entry level players probably wouldn't be wasting time dusting off sniffer eggs. They'd, probably just be focused on beating the game or trying to. And yeah, I think both of the woods are a good update. I love personally for my build that I'm doing right now in my world. I'm currently building like a tropical city, and I'm very excited. I've got like 6 stacks of bamboo, and I'm ready to go. And I think that just the neat little like almost neon green, but I feel like that's not quite the right description. Is a really nice touch, and I think that it's just gives bamboo a little more use than basically just scaffolding. Um, and so we've kind of been putting this off a little bit. But Andrew, what do you have to say about the topic?
Plenty to say about the topic.
As always.
Yeah. So, I think overall as an update, I think this is kind of just the recent Minecraft history has kind of revealed an issue that Mojang has run into that they need to correct if they want a flourishing future for their game. The problem is the precedent they've set. I mean, when Minecraft was an indie game, I mean, of course, as you can all imagine, Mojang has gotten a lot more corporate as they've grown, and that's kind of necessary. That's just how things have to be. But there are some drawbacks. When Minecraft was just an indie game and it was being updated, like Redstone was just an update that he would do. It was like one Friday he added it, and then he would just add mods, all kinds of little tiny updates that were sporadic. And I think that is the kind of update style Minecraft needs, because when you do a yearly big update, and Caves and Cliffs kind of did this. That was probably the most exciting update they've ever done was Caves and Cliffs, because it was something the players had wanted for a long time, and it added mountains of content to the game. Whereas something like Tales and Trails, it doesn't seem like too many people care that much. There doesn't seem to be very much excitement about this update, simply because it's so much smaller. And I think they need to transition to smaller updates, but I just don't think the yearly format is going to work for them anymore. This was not a situation like we were predicting, or I at least predicted, of under promise, over deliver. It was under promise, deliver. They delivered as much as they said, and that just wasn't very much. But the problem is, the more they add, it feels like I'm going to complain either way, and I understand the irony in this, because if they add too much, and we'll get to this later in the podcast, which is the complexity of Minecraft is becoming an issue, in my opinion. Um, but but if they add too little, it just when they make updates an event like this, when they make updates a thing you get excited for every year, and they give it a little silly title like you have Agnes on like it's the Tales and Trails update, that's all this stuff. It's a lot of pomp and theatricalness that I think is good for something like Caves and Cliffs or the Nether update or even the Ocean update that was huge. But so for something of this size, it just didn't seem, too interesting. And most of the stuff they added are just features that exist for the point of existing, like the pottery. Okay. The archaeology stuff is neat, I guess. You use a little brush,
That,
some
that's
suspicious sand.
that's kind of what I was saying a little bit. Is like it's a lot of it's very it felt very side questy,
Yeah. No, none of
like
it seems important.
yeah.
The, there are two issues. The big stuff, like the cherry blossoms, they don't look like Minecraft trees to me. And of course, Minecraft is such a big and it's a very unique game in the cultural zeitgeist to the point where like what Minecraft is so different to a lot of people. I would actually really recommend. I will say content warning for language on this video, but I would really recommend the video a tribute to Minecraft that Jay Schlatt did back before he was like the big crazy Twitch guy he used to be. a video essayist and like a small YouTuber. That's the version of him I prefer personally. But it's probably one of the best Minecraft videos. It actually got retweeted by Jang, or not Jang, but who's Jang? By Notch himself, which I think is really cool. Notch actually even said it made him cry. But this was it was made at a time where Minecraft had experienced its first death. It was before the revival of Minecraft. Um, and I think that's very topical because I think we are slowly but surely making our way into another of Minecraft's deaths.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
and
can see how what you mean by that. You know, viewership's a little low, and hype for updates is a little low as well.
yeah, it just I think the Caves and Cliffs update, as big as it was, kind of irreparably damaged things. Like we're 2 updates away from Caves and Cliffs, and we're just finally getting more of the stuff that they promised. They still have not given us bundles. They promised too much in that update. They overworked their staff, and it all ended pretty terribly. Um, and I think that Minecraft's mobs too. This is something I harp on a lot. And I'm probably gonna have to make a video about this at some point on my channel. Shout out SuperSpartoi, check it out. Um, I think I could see the Minecraft mobs ever since I would say ever since the Phantom have felt continuously more like something that would be modded into the game and not like something that would be in Minecraft. There's a very Notch ever since a certain time kind of got a pretty consistent style for the game and for the game's mobs and like what kinds of things end up in the game and that sort of deal. And the I think that has been broken recently. The sniffer I think is the biggest issue, and here's why. In Minecraft, what they've always tried to do is the bad guy mobs, the hostile mobs are fake, they're fantasy creatures, and the peaceful mobs are real animals. And I've heard people not like that. I really like that. I think that's part of what made the Minecraft vibe a thing, like the mixture of real animals versus fantasy elements, that whole sort of deal that I think has been broken right now with the sniffer is the big one, where it's just this big, lumpy, six-legged dinosaur dude. It sticks out like a sore thumb in a Minecraft world. And I guess there's a reason for that because it's like otherworldly, it's a dinosaur or whatever. You gotta oxygenate it, okay. Um, but I just I feel like that was a bit of a problem. Um, my other issue, okay, good things about this. Hanging signs. I see nothing wrong with that.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I forgot to mention that in my recap, but yes, very awesome hanging signs. Love that.
Pottery, useless. Completely, we did not need it. I'm glad it's here because they offered it in Caves and Cliffs, so okay, I guess. Um, let's see, what else did they add? Okay, the camel. Camel's cool. It's a cool animal. I don't see an issue with it. I don't think it looks very modded. Um, it's just a neat addition, I guess. Oh, geez, what else did they add? They had the sniffer. That's cool. A lot of okay, being able to edit signs. That was good. That was probably the best thing they did. That was a quality of life feature that I think was very good. Okay, there's something to be said for creativity in Minecraft. This could probably be a topic on its own in another episode, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But I think creativity is very much sparked with a limited amount of things. Minecraft
Hmm.
built were probably, I would argue, much more creative in the early days of Minecraft than they are now, because now they have so many materials. For instance, let's say when you're given let's say you do an art competition, right? You have 5 hours, okay? You have a canvas, and they give you a set of 10 colors of oil paint and a brush and stuff. You are now thinking, what do these colors do? I got brown, I got green, I can do a tree. Oh, I love that color red. I could do some fruit on the tree. Wait a minute, I have tan, that could be a person. Oh, what if I do Adam and Eve, in the garden, the fall of man, whatever. But then let's say you have a full art studio. Every possible colored pencils, all kinds of paper, all kinds of oil paint, you have for the same amount of time. It's going to be easier for the first person to create a piece because they can use the limited materials they have to get an idea and make something versus having infinite possibilities. the mind is sort of like trapped by that. Like I don't know what to do. And I think that the kinds of stuff people could pull off back in the olden days when the game looked visually less impressive and there were less options, um, I think it was just more interesting and it was kind of better in a way. And this is something I'm going to talk about a lot. I do plan on a little announcement. I've talked probably before about a Minecraft video I'm planning on making, but I do want to make. I'm going to probably my first big video essay on my channel. Again, shout out SuperSpartoi. Yeah. Um, about Minecraft and just my experience with it and what I feel about it. But I feel like Minecraft is a game, at least to me, that feels like home for whatever reason. Probably because I've been playing it since I was a wee lad, like really young. It's been out since 2009, which is crazy. That's so long. Minecraft, it is a cultural mainstay as big as something like a Zelda or Mario at this point. And I think it's going to be with us in some capacity, probably nearly forever. I think it's a somewhat eternal brand. Um, the only issue is, will it keep its level of relevance, and what's going to happen to it? Because when you have a game, there's never been something like this where like it's that's not a series. Like the Zelda and Mario are probably two of the biggest examples. Even other huge things like Halo, Call of Duty, none of them are games as a service games. They're all yearly installment or regular installment games. And that has so much more potential to go forever than a games as a service game because you're always in the same engine in the same game world making new things. What if you don't have any more new ideas? They can't remake Minecraft Classic like you can't. Like, let's see, run out of ideas for Mario. Let's make Mario 2 3D. You know, you can do stuff like that. They
Yeah.
don't they don't have that option in Minecraft. It's all still there. Um, and I think that's one of the biggest issues for the company Mojang. Mojang themselves are a company that feels significantly less personal. It's just they feel so cold and corporate at this point, whereas they never did. And one of the things, like a trade-off, do you want a bigger game that can handle more, that has more possibilities? Then of course you're going to want someone like Microsoft backing you up. But you trade off that personal indie element of the game. That's what you just have to lose. I mean, I feel like whenever I go into the Minecoin shop on Bedrock, I feel like depression sinking in. Like I feel like I were
I've just
George
gotten numb to it, to
Washington.
be honest.
Fair, honestly, fair. If I feel like I'm like George Washington, who a day after like being like, oh, I'm gonna make this beautiful independent country, got dropped into New York City in the current year, and it's just like have fun, look at all this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't know. And I think the big question of all of this is Minecraft starts as a very simplistic game with simplistic elements and like an infinite possibilities. You have a little world, that world became then infinite. You have a certain amount of blocks, do whatever the heck you want. The question now is it too complicated?
Yeah. That's a good question. I can kind of, I feel like you've spent like, so it's like, and time and mental energy right now, just like saying so much about that anything I'm saying is just probably going to be echoing yours. Um,
That's fine.
like I kind of agree with that. Like, I'm basically, yeah, I'm just going to say my opinion, which is the same as yours, but it has lost just that it's just lost that simple feeling. And I
The
remember
charm.
when
That's what I would
when
call it.
yes,
The
and I
charm.
remember back in the old days, like anybody else remember the Essential Handbook? I remember the Essential Handbook. I had the whole
Oh, the official
series.
handbook.
Dude, I had the Essential Handbook, the Redstone Handbook.
The
There's
combat
a new one
handbook.
too.
Yeah.
I did not actually have that, but I checked that out of like my I checked that out of my local library like 5 times. And gosh, I
My
wonder if I still
school's
have those.
library
I
had. I found them recently. I was sorting through a lot of my old books, putting them in boxes to go to the attic, and I found the old Minecraft handbooks.
Dude,
And I was like,
those are gold. Like if you read those, like the 2012 strats they have, Like, oh, those cannot be topped.
Mm. What's
There was
crazy
also a blue one
is
that had a shovel on it, I think, and I forget which one that was.
that
There
was
was
the
also
build
farming.
book. It
Oh,
was
I
the
thought there was a
farmers.
farming one too.
There was like
But
okay. No, that was probably the farmer. The farmer had a hoe on it, right? The farming handbook.
Yeah, probably.
it
There was a
did.
There was
shovel
like
one. I remember there was a shovel one.
That was the building handbook.
Oh, dude,
Here's
that
the
Well,
was
if you want to
that
do it
was
this
Minecraft tutorials before Minecraft tutorials were Minecraft tutorials.
all right, Andrew. I think in one of the
Oh
previous
gosh.
episodes you talked about the how was it wikis are killing games.
Did I talk about? Oh, here, by the way, hold on really quickly. I found them. It's the Essential Handbook, which is the pickaxe. Then the
Yes.
Redstone Handbook, which had redstone on it. The Construction Handbook, which had the shovel, and the Combat Handbook, which had the sword.
Dude, I think I've read all those so many times. I own two, and then I think I just checked them out of the library like a lot back when I was younger. Back when those were, it's sad to say, but back when those were relevant and actually had up
Yeah.
to date information. Now they're like they're just like the old relics that are dearly beloved, but the as for how effective they are, I don't know. I haven't read them in so long, so maybe some of their day one strats hold up, but I don't know.
I would
Um,
personally doubt it a
I
lot.
would doubt that too, dude. The game's just changed so much over the last like 9 or 10 years, but I think go back to what I was saying. I literally cannot even remember how we got to talking about the essential handbook, but what I was gonna say was that it was just beautifully simple, and like they back in the old days they used to play it up and try and market it as there was like no limits to what you could do. I remember that all that's where I was. All over the essential handbook and whatever. They were like, Minecraft's this beautiful game. There's no limits. You can just take all these blocks and do whatever you want with it. But the more and more they add structure to it, and there's a reason why they're doing all that. I mean, the lore market is bigger now ever since the effect that stuff like the Dream SMP has had on the Minecraft community, which is a thing in and of itself that we've already talked about. But
Actually, really,
it's
in the
oh, sorry.
comments, let us know if you would like us to discuss that again, because I think we kind of
No.
butchered it the first time.
What are you talking about, dude? I thought that was
Did we
good.
not? I
I
thought we
thought that was
agreed we had.
good.
I could have done better. Okay, boys, let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about it again.
Oh, because you know he
Show it
will.
on my channel to give me views.
Yeah. Oh boy.
But back to what I was saying. Don't you think
Yeah.
that a game?
That was just finishing my point there. You got it.
Sorry. Don't you guys think that a game by itself should be simple to play? Minecraft had the handbooks to help people figure it out. So even back then, it was more complicated.
But it really wasn't. Like the stuff they put in those handbooks was like, and then you can use coal and wood to make torches. Like, it's not that. It wasn't like it was that complicated. All I was saying was that the more lore they add, I'm kind of yelling right now, but the more lore they add, the more like complicated it gets. And of course, there's good reasons for them to add stuff like the snipper and the lore and whatever, but it comes with a cost. So you can go ahead and talk.
Sorry. So even with that, um, the game alludes to how to make a nether portal, but it never upright tells you how to make a nether portal. Wouldn't you guys agree? So even
Yeah.
back then, there was a chance that some person who never had the books just never went to the nether.
Yeah, okay, that is actually a good point. Think about this, right? Minecraft, because of the age it was made in, kind of assumes you're watching Minecraft YouTube videos. Okay, for
Yeah, that's
instance,
true.
now they added a very good feature, and I see why they added it. Which is in current Minecraft, you can find a ruined portal, and you can put together. Wait a minute, there's flint and steel here. What if we build this portal, put fire in it? Oh my gosh, guys! Oh, in the Nether. But there's
Beautiful
no
mic peaking.
clues. Thank you. There's no in-game reason for you to want to do that, right? Back in the day, every kid and their dog knew how to make another Portal because it was released in one update. It was all over YouTube. It was. I just feel like Minecraft now and Minecraft then are so different. Um, and I
The
think Minecraft.
world now and the world then is different though.
Yeah. Oh, of course, there's been huge changes, but I think one of the biggest things too is like Minecraft is like when it was booming back then. Now it's kind of an established cultural monolith, but I think back then it was like this huge rising thing. It was even bigger. Minecraft at its peak was probably the one of the biggest crazes. I would consider it bigger than the Pokemon craze of the 1990s. I would say it's the biggest gaming craze of all time. Then again, I was never in the Pokemon craze, but from what I understand about it, I would say that the peak of Minecraft is probably the biggest gaming era of all time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or not.
I
And
can't
the thing
remember.
is,
Was Minecraft so popular that it was called the Antichrist? I can't remember if it was or not.
I don't know if it was because
I don't know, but I kind of want to research
Because
that.
I feel like every
Pokemon
single
was
game that's
called the
gotten popular has been called the Antichrist.
Ah, crap! You might be right. Um,
That's a
imagine
story
we
for another day. The one that I'm very
imagine we get so
interested
popular
in.
that TLNROM is some people call it that. You know, I will say though, I doubt it because
Suffering
Minecraft
from success.
has been kind of seen as like the classic game you play when you're like a homeschooler. So I feel like
True.
those don't really go too hand in hand. I don't think Minecraft was. So maybe you might have it be right, John. I think Pokemon might beat it because Pokemon was called. So were the Ninja Turtles though. So I don't. I mean,
I mean, the Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles were popular. Like,
yeah,
popular
I
but
will
enough to
say though,
spawn movies, and Minecraft is just
true.
now getting a movie, so
Which it should not. That's terrible. That's a horrible
oh
idea. It
it,
would not
gosh.
never translate
it's
to
a
a
bad
movie.
But
idea.
that goes back to what we were saying about how it's getting so corporate. Like a movie is a hallmark of just how like if your product is getting a movie about it, that's like
FNAF is getting a
that's
freaking movie,
yeah, exactly.
and now that it's good,
That's
it's
like the big
FNAF
you
is
did it,
dead
you're
and buried.
corporate. That's like the big
Yeah,
you did it, you're corporate. Like you okay, congrats, you're getting a movie. Now you're officially like a corporate sellout. And while not
or
everything
you
that
get
gets a
bought by
movie is,
Microsoft,
that's
frankly. But
while not everything that gets a movie is, you know,
right,
like that's still like when you're getting a movie, like big whoop, guess what? You're the establishment now, and
yeah,
like you're corporate now, and that's almost thrown around as like a
I
dirty word
mean,
now, but
Minecraft
like
is
it's not
already
terrible.
corporate. They've
Yeah, it already
yeah.
has been ever since. Yeah, like Angel said, ever since Microsoft bought it, kind of has been.
Or Minecraft. I think it's too late for them to not be corporate at this era, at this stage, because of
Dang.
just the sheer size of them. Um, it's a big book series. Book
Yeah.
series. I was literally
Bro,
looking at books on a shelf in my room. Big game.
bruh.
Uh, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think these are some good points. Um, what I think we should transition to now is
We
the
never
mod
we never talked about the topic though, which
the
is it
tail,
getting too
Trails and
too
Tails.
no, is Minecraft getting too what's it called?
Oh,
complicated.
like too complex.
Complicated. Yeah.
I think we touched on it very much on a lot
Did
about like
we?
how about how the just how the more they add these role play things in, the less simple and easy to understand it becomes, and then
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
like you said, there's an element of they assume you are watching the Minecraft videos, which is a big part that we didn't have back in 2012. And so I guess that's fair in that regard.
Mhm.
But
The other
overall, I think it's you can't argue that it isn't getting more complicated.
no, but I think the real question is that a problem? I would argue that the simple charm of Minecraft is very important, but I think it's too late to preserve it, and they just need to make the game as fun as possible.
Right.
I think that the Minecraft we grew up with is dead, and a lot of us want to cling on to it. I have the desire in me to cling on to it as well, but I think I need to accept at some point that we aren't kids anymore. Um,
And
and
it's a if
Minecraft is
it
either. It's an
if they try
established boy.
you can't keep it's so hard to keep something simple and relevant at the same time. I mean, look at it's just so hard to do that. Like you have the just basic natural selection like laws just kind of demand that you have to keep, creating more stuff or you
Yeah.
perish. And that goes for the same thing in
Minecraft is
businesses.
14, right? I'm pretty sure Minecraft is 14 years old.
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Um,
It's about the age of most of its players, probably.
the
Um,
world.
I know that's
Oh,
horrible.
that that made me feel old there. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's just impossible to preserve that. It's kind of impossible to preserve that simpleness and still be relevant. I think that's just so hard to do. Um,
yeah,
and but complications can be a good thing. Sometimes they add or detract from the experience, but a lot of times people like purposefully created additions to worlds can be a good thing. Specifically mods, which John, your turn now for a mod of the week.
Alright, just like how Minecraft was simpler when it was young, so was the podcast. So again, I'm going back to something that we touched on during the beginning of the podcast, not that long ago. A pirate ship mod. Was just a pirate mod. It's a lot of fun. I was playing with it. You guys can hear me, right? I really hope that I'm not muted.
no,
No,
we can hear you.
you're fine.
We can hear you.
You're
Yeah,
fine.
you're good.
Okay.
There we go.
Hold on, let me pull it up. But I was actually playing with it earlier today, and it has cannons, cannons that you can attach onto the ships. The ships, sadly, you can't naturally build them, so it's like you can't like add blocks onto it. I'm gonna see if I can't find a mod for that though. But it has grappling hooks, swords, new mobs, and it is the Seven Treasures mod. It's a pretty fun mod, I do have to say. And also, one thing that I want to touch on before I hand this back to Grant is that there was I think Andrew talked about this a while back, maybe, but there was something went wrong with, I think it was Modrith and CurseForge, to where a lot of their mods during April and May actually had viruses attached to them.
Whoa.
Someone was able to hack into, so it wasn't the studio's fault that made the mod. Someone was able to hack into CurseForge and attach viruses onto big mods.
Yikes. Stay careful.
So yeah, just stay careful. Scan your PC. Follow the regular guidelines to make sure that you aren't downloading a mod or anything. And yeah, just stay safe downloading mods. I'll hand this back to Grant.
Okay. Thank you, and yeah, just always make sure that you are. I'm not on mute. Am I? Let me check. Okay, I'll get on. But yeah, just be careful with that. But now, actually, he handed this back to me, but actually, it's Andrew's turn. Now for the serious segment. Andrew, kill our joy.
Uh, absolutely. That is what I am here to
he's
do.
like, he's like,
Um,
oh, you don't have to ask me twice.
I will always
With
kill y'all's
pleasure.
joy.
Oh,
Now,
kill
if you don't
pleasure
know how my
with pleasure.
segment works here, if you don't know how my segment works here, we're gonna talk about something serious. This one's is not that serious, in comparison. But if you don't want to hear anything potentially serious at all, I will only be going for 1 minute exactly. We're gonna say 3, 2, 1, go. You're gonna skip ahead in the podcast exactly 1 minute, and get back to your regularly scheduled, undeep, thoughtless, sloppy podcast. Okay, so you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. New York has fallen. I was actually recently traveling up in the New York area. I was driving on a bridge, and the way up, we could see the New York skyline. On the way back, we couldn't because of smog, because Canada was set on fire. I don't believe they know the cause yet. I think the most likely was just lightning, but there were some forest fires in Canada, and it's making some smoke. And that smoke is a pretty serious smoke. When we were up there were people in the news saying if you're in New York, you have to come out with a mask on. Every hour spent out there was like smoking one cigarette from just breathing in the amount of smoke and smog in the air. There's nothing you can do about it. Canada's set on fire. I mean, what are they going to do? They're not going to help us. But the air quality was so bad, literally all the way down the East Coast. The air purity was like way down, and it was a bit more dangerous to breathe. So, ladies and gentlemen, that stinks if you're up there, and thank you for listening. That was the serious minute.
Yeah, that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much I saw that most of the East was actually affected by it. So that's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
bad. But you know, just stay safe, and it's always good to just keep watch over those things, because you never know when something like that could happen for a week, and then all of a sudden you're just it's just on you like that, and then it's pretty smoky in the air and whatever.
Well
Um,
said.
Thank you. I
Mhm.
kind of failed on that because I was thinking about something else. But now it's time to restore everybody's favorites. Restore everybody's joy by bringing in the favorite segment of the podcast. Obviously, 100% agree. Those polled 100% said that this was their favorite segment. And the sports segment.
Press
Mr. Host
X
Grant.
for doubt.
Hey, just because I only polled myself doesn't mean the poll results aren't valid, right? So the playoff coverage continues because the NHL and NBA are supposed to be winter sports, but it is June and they just will not die. Um, so the first quick thing about the NHL, quick update there. The Golden Knights have been taking fair command over the Florida Panthers with wins 5-2, 7-2, and the Panthers beat the Golden Knights. The Florida Panthers beat the Golden Knights 3-2, and then the Golden Knights responded with another 3-2 win. So the Golden Knights are one game away from securing, I believe, their first ever Stanley Cup, which would be huge for them. So, it's always good to root for a new team, but if you're a Panthers fan, then go for it. That next game is June 13th, so it's probably going to be already done. I'll have to cover that next sports segment. But big moves have been happening over in the NBA finals as well. In a fairly similar scenario, actually. The Denver Nuggets have been just outclassing the Miami Heat with scores of 104-93 in game one. And then a very close 3-point loss to Miami, 111-108. And then Denver responds with two back-to-back wins at 109-94 and 108-95. So Nuggets well on pace to secure themselves another. I don't know actually know if they've ever won it. I assume they have. For them to secure the NBA championship. Um, and there's been a lot of sports news recently, specifically in the soccer world, because even if you don't follow European soccer, and heck, if you don't follow soccer at all, you might know who Lionel Messi is. And he recently won the 2022 World Cup for Argentina. But regularly, in case you don't know, he played on the Paris Saint-Germain soccer team based out of Paris, France. Um, and but now he has left and he is American bound. He is going to Miami to play for the worst team in the Eastern Conference of MLS. They have a pretty bad record. I think they're 5-13. Um, Let me check really quick, but yes, they are 5-12 actually. With still no draws, but yes, 5 wins, 12 losses. they need a savior, and Messi, who is widely considered the best soccer player on earth, could be that. He definitely could be that answer. Would not put it past him. Um, so that's a very big news, and more bad news for PSG, as Paris Saint Germain is called. Um, their other star, Kylian Mbappe, who played against Messi on France's World Cup team, who made it to the finals, has expressed interest that after the 2023-24 soccer season in Europe, he wants to leave. So he's going to be going somewhere else. Not good news if you're a Paris Saint Germain fan, but you don't need me telling you. You probably already know that yourself. So a few other just like little tidbits across the sports world and other soccer news. Manchester City beat, oh gosh, who was it? AC Milan, I believe, in the Champions League. Inter Milan, my bad. To win the United UEFA Champions League. So congratulations to them. Over in Formula One, it's just Max Verstappen paradise as he continues to just win everything, including the Spanish Grand Prix. He led all the practice sessions. He got on pole. He started first, and then he led every lap to a dominant win. So he is like pretty clearly he is going to be the Formula One champion in 2023. Um, in MLB, the Rays continue their AL dominance, their American League dominance, with the Braves in the National League being the best NL team. And then lastly, over in NASCAR, Kyle Busch has been completing his revenge tour since getting dumped by his longtime team, Joe Gibbs Racing. He joined a new team this year, and he got his third win of the season at Gateway a few weeks ago. So congrats to him. He is continuing his anti-Gibbs revenge tour, really. And recently, though, Gibbs is not out of it, as their driver Martin Truex Jr. won the race at Sonoma, California. And yeah, I don't think I missed anything. So that's your sports summary. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Oh yeah, I did not want to pronounce this name. Novak Djokovic. Don't kill me. I did my best. Um, he has assumed the number one world tennis ranking for men, with a win in his 23rd his record 23rd Grand Slam, by winning the French Open finals. So he's your French Open champion in tennis. And yes, he is the number one male tennis player in the world. So congrats to him. And now, unless I think of any last minute thing, that should be it for your sports segment for today. And I guess I don't even need to turn this over to anybody because the next thing we want to cover today is the spooky segment. So this one I had to do a bit of digging. I looked around. I tried to find a good one in New York, which I'm sure there are. Let us know. But I found a good one all the way down in the state of North Carolina. And this one is a pretty interesting story about a miner, uh, like one who mines. It's I should probably give you guys an opportunity to at least talk if you guys want to make a comment about that, or if you're just ready to roll on through it. You guys have
That
anything to
sounded
say?
sus there for a second. I was
Yeah,
like,
it is a one who mines.
calm it down. Okay, we're
I
good.
mean, is
Bro.
that just a child? Victorian style England would probably agree with me.
I mean, what's the difference? Okay. So going into it, one of the mines close to Charlotte, North Carolina, was called McIntosh Mine, and it was owned by he's a very cheap man named Skinflint McIntosh, which maybe that's just me, but that sounds like the cheapest name. Like I don't know what it is. But anyways, he owned this mine, and it was a good mine. There was a lot of gold, but it was discovered. A huge gold vein was discovered very deep underground, And he was going to, send his workers down there, but nobody would go because it was so deep. They would be afraid that the mine shaft would collapse on them, and then they die and lose their lose everything. So too afraid of death, none of the workers wanted to go down there. So McIntosh searched around, and he found a local miner named Joe McGee, who is well known as one of the best in the business. Throughout the years, McIntosh had tried to hire Joe, but he could never pay his price. But finally, he sent for Joe and said he wanted to hire him. And Joe, he obviously was a little worried about uh, just the situation with his family, like all the other people who mined were. And he was like, "What's going to happen to my family if I die?" And McIntosh said, "If you got killed down there, I'd give your wife $1,000, which was a lot back then. You wouldn't have to worry about them." And Joe's like, "Make it 2,000, and my price for digging, and you got a deal." So McIntosh agrees, and Joe gets sent down there. Sadly for him, it he finds minimal success. There wasn't really anything left down there, but he was still gonna keep going down there and looking for it. And then eventually, it did collapse, and it would. And Joe, Joe sadly did not make it, and so he was very mad. But remember, McIntosh was very cheap, and because I guess Joe is dead, he was like, "I'm not going to pay his wife and kids anything." And so he just chickened out, and or what he probably would have called a practical business move, which is horrible. But he basically just didn't pay his agreed price. And so one day, one of the workers apparently saw the ghost of Joe McGee, and Joe McGee, the apparition, apparently said, I'm gonna haunt that. I'm gonna haunt this man's mind until he pays the price. And no matter how much McIntosh offered to pay, he couldn't find anyone willing to brave Joe's wrath because I'm not gonna go haunt. I'm not gonna go mine down in a haunted mine. And so honestly, he probably just lost more money if he had just paid the fine, just paid the agreed price. He probably would have been okay, but nope, he's just a little too cheap. Um, and eventually he had to close the mine, leaving a vast fortune untapped. It was reopened briefly, but Joe put in a few appearances and it was again quickly closed. The gold is still down there somewhere to this day, but only Joe McGee knows where to dig, and he doesn't want to see McIntosh's mine opened ever again. Whether or not any of that's real, I don't know. It depends on whether or not you believe in ghosts, but apparently that mine is forever haunted now. On a somewhat depressing note, I guess we should talk about something else. And do you guys have any comments on that before we head into our final topic tonight?
It's pretty spooky.
Yeah, I did a lot of digging for that one. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's talk about some random mine in North Carolina.
Be it.
What's that?
Oh, it just said spoopy indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Very spooky.
Well, if we've got nothing more to say, Andrew, why don't you take over on this final topic?
All right. So yeah, sounds good. We're gonna be talking for the final topic about an anime called
Keep
Serial
together.
Experiments Lane, or Irakura Lane in its Japanese title. They're very different. Serial experiments meaning like multiple experiments, lane, but in the Japanese title, an Irakura, it's a stone that would be at a temple that they believe that the gods like would sit on. Um, Before we get into this, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all. There's going to be a bit of a content warning. So right now, if you haven't enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. If you're on Spotify, giving us a nice review.
You know what
With
to do.
5 stars. You know what to do. But I will say a bit of a content warning on this one. Uh, as far as watching the episode, we'll get into that later. But I will say I just like a little general content warning. There will be a very light discussion of some heavier topics. Main one being a lot of it circles around a character who commits suicide. Now that's out of the way, we're going to begin. So the anime follows the protagonist. Her name is Lane. She is a girl who I think they say she's in school, but I think they say like 8th grade. The anime was made in 1998, but it takes place in the future where instead of the internet, they have the Wired is what it's called, and they tap into it on machines called Navi. And there's some pretty existent symbolism that like the Wired or the Navi is like a living thing. And this was made at a time when the internet was like very young. So it's interesting to see how some of this has come to fruition. But like this would all have been seen as very futuristic, like where she gets on her computer and it talks to her. And it's very interesting to see now where we live in the era that it would probably be taking place in, but it was made in 1998, so you know. Also, the opening is a banger. It's called Duvet by the English band Boa. The O has a little triangle on top of it. We'll probably link it in the description. But the show it's a horror, it's sci-fi anime, but it's not very gory. There is some blood and a very heavy topics. I'll get into the plot in a second. I won't be giving any spoilers really, but it's not like gory. It's the horror is more just it stands to like unsettle you more than anything, and it is very unsettling. The way the characters like do dialogue and talk to each other, all of it just kind of feels wrong, and kind of watching it has this like con like this uh like ability to make your skin crawl. It's very interesting. It's a pretty well done show, I would say. But the main plot is the girl Lane realizes after one of her classmates jumps from a building, um, they start getting emails from her, and I'll assume it's a prank because you can't get an email from a dead person. But Lane gets messages telling her about that how basically she continues to like hear voices from her saying that she did it to leave the real world and its constraints and to become one with the Wired, which is this world's version of the internet. And it just goes on from there. The art style is very interesting. It's an older anime, so it has some stuff like that. If you have never watched anime before, this is not the one to start with. Holy crap. It is so weird. Even me watching it, I kind of feel lost the whole time because they poorly explain everything, and most of the time they just don't do anything. Um, it's a very interesting show, but I would not recommend it unless you've already watched a good amount of anime to try to get that kind of understanding and all that. But yeah,
Good presentation, I'd say. I like that. I probably won't be watching it, but you know, it's not really on the watch list, but sounds interesting,
yeah,
and if that's
it
something
is
you're
not
into, then go
for.
for it.
I wouldn't say like a lot of people are like it's not for everyone. It's just not for most people. Most people would not find this interesting. Uh, I
Andrew's
want
weird brain does though.
So I watch it mostly more because I want to like it than I actually do like it. But there's only like 12 episodes, so
Hmm. Well, that's been short, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it.
I'm watching it on YouTube. Don't tell the feds, but all the episodes are on YouTube for free, illegally. But you know,
On that note, we can't
I'm not
say we
saying
support
that
that.
I endorse pirating.
Yeah, we can't support that. At least me and John can't.
right? I don't
Um,
support it either. I every day I wake up, I can't sleep at night because I watch Lane on YouTube. So just kids, don't follow him. Crime does not pay. Don't follow my footsteps.
um, okay. It's with that out of the way. I guess, do you guys have anything else you want to say? Any final thoughts? I think we've kept everybody's attention long enough. Or maybe we didn't, but whoops.
Yeah, this is probably a very well timed episode. Hopefully, this is a bit of a return to form for us because we've been way off of our footing for a few episodes now. But yeah, thank you. If y'all have watched this episode and been sticking with us this whole time, thank you so much.
Means a lot.
Yes, of course, means a lot. Yeah.
John, do you have any final thoughts?
Just that it was a good episode. And that's it.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't have many complaints with it either. So, yeah, just thank y'all. If you're still here watching this, you're awesome. And I think we will see you guys later. Bye. worst outro ever.